Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is the Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you. It's Tuesday night. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock. It's something we've been talking about doing here for a few weeks. Where else would you rather be? And with me as always, except when he's not, is my big brother, Rich. Rich, how's it going tonight?
There's only one way to mock.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, let's get this mock draft going. Eventually, we'll get there.
It's Scho Bro style.
Yeah, gotta do it Scho Bro style. But yeah, you want to sing some songs, you want to only be one way to mock. I tell you what, this afternoon, I guess, I heard a song on the radio that really brought back the memories. It brought back the memories of the late 90s. I felt like it was a Friday morning. I felt like I was tuned in to B94 as I heard.
I was going to say you were back late 90s. It was Friday morning, and I was hearing the Friday song, so I'm not surprised.
Todd Rundgren. I don't want to work. I want to bang on the drum all day. Man, I miss B94. I miss
B94.
I do. Forget the fan. Forget the fan. Give me John, Dave, Bubba, and Shelley back in the day doing the morning show on the radio. I miss that. But for those of you that weren't in the greater Pittsburgh area, and bottom line is you had to be in radio, TV antenna range or radio range of Pittsburgh. That was some really good stuff back in the day with that and the Friday song, man. And that took off. That ended up being like 6 or 8 songs that it evolved into. But that was the one that
I really loved about that show is, when Dave left, they hired a new guy. And even though his name wasn't, he had to be referred to as Dave because they
didn't want to change the name of the show. Yeah, that was good stuff. I move away and next thing you know, it's gone. It was sad, but yeah. So that did bring back some memories. And the bottom line is, if you're wondering, we'll talk about some news. That's what we need to do to stall, because we got to get everybody here. We've got to make sure everyone got their alert because we are doing our mock draft tonight, but it's those of you that are here in the live chat. You are going to help determine these draft picks. We will let you know who's available. I'll share the screen. I'll bring it up there. I don't know if you'll be able to read it very well or not. We'll read it for you, but we'll at least try. So we're going to run a full 7-round mock, but I have to give a disclaimer. I ran this earlier today. I just clicked the top name every time to get there. It doesn't have the exact correct picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers because things aren't made official. Now, if you're if you've been like me, we're taking a nap or something, but you've been or you work a different shift and you're just now waking up to the sound of the Scho Bro shows, you might not have heard the news. Things are not official yet. There's going to be a physical happening on Wednesday, but the Steelers reportedly have made a trade for wide receiver Allen Robinson, who was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars out of Penn State. He was with the Jaguars for 4 years. He was in Chicago for 4 years, 3 years on a deal, 1 year on a franchise tag, and then spent last year with the Los Angeles Rams for part of the season before he was placed on IR. The Rams are just kind of unloading things. It was very interesting. If you were checking out BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, that website still exists. There was a lot of discussion here. What do you want to say, Rich?
Who last week said that the Steelers might add some, veteran wide receiver presence?
I did. Did you? Who was that? Do you think it was going to be via trade though?
Didn't necessarily think it was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be trade.
Who said they were going to?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that was you.
I could see.
And you weren't alone. I'm not saying it was me. I'm just saying other people in the live chat. Yes. So they went out, and it's so funny because it was I couldn't get through all the comments at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. Like I said, that website still exists because there's like 300 and some comments, and some people are like, "Oh yes, Steelers fans, wow. The Steelers need to add a veteran wide receiver." The Steelers say they're going to be making a trade for Allen Robinson. Wow. This is not a good trade. It's like The same people who were asking for a veteran wide receiver were then like, well, I don't like this. I didn't know what to think, but unlike how things go on the interweb, I was still holding off to see what the trade actually was. So here's the terms of the trade. In case you're wondering, Allen Robinson still has 2 years left of his contract. It was a 3-year, $46.5 million contract, something around that line. I put it in the article. I can't remember what it is, but for those of you wondering, like, oh, what are they going to have to give up draft wise? Oh, so people are like, I hope it wasn't a third. I hope it wasn't, I hope it better be a seventh. Well, they did give up a seventh, but they didn't give up a draft pick. They swapped 7th round picks. They moved back 17 spots. They moved from 231, which was their first 7th round draft pick, back behind their other pick to pick 258, right? Did I get those numbers right? Let me double check. I might not, because 256. Oh, no. From I got my ones and my eights back. No, it was from 234. My numbers are way off. Same tonight. I was way off. I was trying to go from memory. So let's actually look at these, because I was thinking of the one. It was 231. No, the Steelers have 241. They had 234, and they traded that for 251. I was going to say, how could it be 258? I think there's only 256. But in other words, a couple from the end. Bottom line is it was 17 picks. 17 picks later is what they did. Additionally, Allen Robinson was due $15.25 million this year. Part of that was a roster bonus, which is already taken care of by the Rams. But Omar Khan wasn't done. He wasn't going to pay all that, even what was left of the roster bonus. The report is the Pittsburgh Steelers are swapping 7th round picks in the upcoming draft, and they will be paying $5 million due to Allen Robinson this season. So $5 million, wide receiver. You move back 17 picks in the 7th round. Go ahead, Rich. Give me what you got. What are your thoughts?
So basically, we traded 17 spots in the draft at the very end of the draft for Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Gives
So, I mean,
me that veteran presence kind of guy I was thinking the Steelers needed to add. So there you go. They got it.
And
traded for it.
Do you think they're going to pay $15 million next year?
No.
Unless he completely balls out, they would think about it, but then they would probably look for an extension. I don't
exactly.
When it comes to 2024 and the amount of money he's got left, it's probably either going to be extension or release.
Yep.
Now, there's a slight chance they could say, hey, he's worth the money, but an extension, he wants even more money. I doubt it. He'll turn 30 before the season starts. He's 29 right now. Did not fit well with the Rams. The question is, does he have anything left in the tank? We'll see. If it doesn't, this is great. Someone said this in the live chat. Who was? I think it might have been Shay Richards. So let's see if I can find it. Yeah, some people were already correcting my numbers. I started spouting them off. I'm like, you know what? I'm watching the numbers tick on or the corner of our screen here and everything, telling me the time. And I just had them all mixed up in my head. That's why I said I better read these. But somebody said, I don't know if it was Sherry, because she said some things. I might not be able to find it. So I'm sorry. Rather than take the time to find it, I'm sorry, whoever said this. But if he doesn't even work out through training camp, the Steelers can release him and owe him nothing.
Correct.
Nothing.
Correct.
My understanding, I mean, because he did have some guaranteed money for this year, but I don't think it's any of the $5 million that the Steelers would still owe. No, I'm trying to look it up real quick.
The guaranteed money was the signing bonus, and he had a roster bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. So
paid out by the Rams. Which then took his $15 million this year hit and took it to a little over 10. and then the Rams are paying all but 5.
Well, I'll tell you this. According to Over the Cap, they have the $5 million for Robinson this year's guaranteed. They have that as guaranteed. So that was the part of the guarantee. But I don't know if they're right. I think they generally are correct. So I generally go by it.
5 million. Well, hold on. 5 million out of how much?
No, this is his current. They updated him to be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
And they say with the Steelers that $5 million is guaranteed. So I'm glad we looked into that to see the way that looks. So but he's let's see, what's his dead money? I think his dead money hit for the Rams now is going to be almost $21.5 million. And they still owe him 10.25 million of all that, and that they have that part of it's guaranteed. So I'm glad we didn't say that out there too much. But you know how much that's guaranteed next year? Zero. So you got $5 million this year, and you're like, oh, $5 million. Well, sometimes you got to put that into perspective. You know, last year, if you took Marcus Allen and William Jackson III's half a season where he didn't even play a game, those two players combined last year made more from the Steelers than what Allen Robinson's going to make this year.
Yes.
If the Steelers want to get that back, let's say now the Steelers, let's say they're free. We'll see what we do in our mock draft simulator here shortly. Let's say they were able to draft a corner in the first round. They're like, you know what? We don't need both Levi Wallace and Akella Witherspoon. We're going to cut one of those. There's 4 of the 5 million right there.
Yeah.
So that's, and if you're just looking at him coming on now and how much the Steelers have left, because I did do a salary cap update. Oh my goodness, that was this morning. Guessing what I have to do another one. That if you look at it, his displacement is just over $4 million because of having to bump someone off out of the top 51. So when you look at that, so the Steelers are going to have to free up some more space in there sometime eventually. So they'll get to that. They'll need it. I mean, they technically still have enough to sign all their draft picks right now because their draft picks are the way I have it calculated, it's less than $3.5 million when you look at roster displacement, is about what it should be. So there's some interesting options there. But I mean, if you think about that, that's only a fraction of, let's say, Deontay Johnson this year. His salary cap hit is $16 million. So you're talking about a third, less than a third of what Deontay Johnson's cap hit is. So they're not going to get rid of him for this year now. That is guaranteed. I'm glad we looked that up. But it still, I don't think that's overly expensive.
No.
Yeah. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
It doesn't work out. Okay.
It's $5 million. And it's, I know for us, we're like, oh, it's only $5 million. Yeah, right. And it's 17 spots in the 7th round. If you're talking 17 spots in the 2nd round or the 3rd round, that's a whole different story. So when we go to do our mock draft simulator, we're not going to have pick what the Steelers supposed to have. What is it? 241 and 250. I'm forgetting it again. All right, 254. We're going to have 231 and 241. Or sorry, 234 and 241. I keep saying 231 for some reason. I don't know why.
All right, stop talking. Let's do the draft.
Yeah, you're ready to do this draft. Now, it's very interesting because who's actually available depends on which mock simulator you run. So I'm going to let everyone know how this works. This is our 3rd year doing this now?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And then next week we'll be looking at we'll be kind of reviewing some things and kind of almost having you all help us set a little bit of our own kind of big board with stuff going into Thursday night. But the way we do this is we use a mock draft simulator, and I'm switching it up which one I'm using this year because the one I've used for the last 2 years, I haven't been able to find it and get it to work. I used the Draft Network. I think they redid it. I think they put it behind a login. I don't even know if you have to pay for it or not. I moved on from that one. ESPN came out with a simulator yesterday, and I actually used that and thought it was interesting. But it doesn't allow you to sort the players nearly as well and and type them in order to find them as much. I was doing it on my phone, so I don't know. So I'm going with the one that we've been using, which is actually Pro Football Network. Pro Football Network. Now, I will tell you the one thing: we are not doing trades. Pro Football Network, their simulator, they'll come in and ask for trades and everything else. We're ignoring all the trades. We're going to stay where we are. And I know some people are like, but the Steelers should trade back. I still think, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I still think it's very difficult for the Steelers to trade back this year because I've just heard too many teams are wanting to trade back.
Yep.
As too many teams are wanting to trade back and not enough are wanting to trade up. It's hard to find that perfect partner. So now if a lot of people were wanting to move up and not many were wanting to move back, it'd be a whole different story. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on right now. So, you ready to do this?
Please.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. Do the Steelers need to draft a wide receiver now?
It depends.
Yeah. I think it might change how they had just come out with was it Kuiper and McShay did a back and forth mock draft.
Yeah,
they had the Steelers taking a wide receiver in the first round, and then this comes out. I don't. To me, I know some people still had the dream of Jordan Addison. I kept thinking that was becoming less and less of a reality, especially at 17. But we will see. In case you're wondering, I'm currently there. I took it away. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. I'm trying to get this set up to share my screen, so that way we at least have a little bit of it. I'm trying to get the right one. Where's it at? My goodness, if I had less than 27 tabs open on my computer right now, it might make this a little bit easier. But is it there?
Hold on. There it comes.
There we go. There we are. So the way this works, we'll have it on the screen. We'll go through. We'll look at the possibilities. We'll throw it out to you all. Rich will monitor the live chat to try to get somewhat of a consensus. We might even narrow it down for you all and say, all right, I need everyone to pick between this person, that person. Sometimes we'll get there and we'll say, oh, what position are we looking for? And someone say, the live chat might throw out a name or a position to filter under for us to take the time to figure this out. So before we get going, we're going to break a little bit real quick early so that way we're done and can just focus on this draft. So stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, let's get this going. This is the Scho Bro mock draft. We are on it. It doesn't have a way for me to ignore all trades right now. So if it does, I haven't figured it out. So here we go. Let's draft. I have it on fast because I don't really care a ton of what everyone's doing as we go, but I will read all the picks going up to the Steelers' first pick as they come. So we're sitting. Let's draft. Here we go. And they're Anthony Richardson, first overall. My goodness, this is already an interesting situation. So here we go. Let's see what they are. Anthony Richardson goes first overall to Carolina. Then CJ Stroud. Will Anderson goes to Arizona. Will Levis goes 4 to the Colts. Then Bryce Young goes 5th to the Seahawks. There's no way the Seahawks would let Bryce Young get beyond 5th. I'd have to say that. Christian Gonzalez, 6th to the Lions. Paris Johnson, 7th to the Raiders. Tyree Wilson, 8th to the Falcons. Miles Murphy, 9th to the Bears. Jalen Carter falls to 10. But that's as far as he falls. To the Eagles. Broderick Jones, 11th to the Titans. Jackson Smith, Njigba. I should be able to say his name better since his brother plays for the Pirates. He's 12th. Peter Skoronski, 13th. Keely Ringo, or is it Kaylee? Keely, I think it's Keely Ringo. 14th. Devin Witherspoon, 15th. They did a trade where the Jacksonville Jaguars, they do other trades, but we're not accepting any trades. Brian Branch, safety of Alabama. So here's who we have. Here are our options. We've got Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. Brian, is it Brisset or Brisset, however you say it? I'm going to screw this up all night. Out of Clemson, Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC, Lucas Van Ness, edge, Iowa, Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State, Cam Smith, cornerback, South Carolina. Those are the top choices. Have anybody talked about stuff in here of who they think we should be taking? I think I know the obvious choice.
I've only seen a couple, and they are what I think is the obvious choice, and you probably think.
And we will talk more about this next week.
Maybe, because I got two there I could argue for.
Yeah, but my thing is the way the draft falls. I'm looking specifically at 3 offensive linemen and 3 cornerbacks. The only question, if any one of them, if more than one of them are available, what do you do? I even have a 4th offensive lineman and then a 4th quarterback also, but I think they both fall after the 3 of the other ones. But right now, we've got a couple Van Ness thrown in there, but otherwise overwhelming. What are you saying, Rich?
Overwhelming there, and my first instinct is to go JPJ. The only other person I would have taken was Van Ness. So really, it comes down to those two. Do you want the corner or do you want the edge rusher? I just see a bigger need at corner, so I say let's go corner.
Because I wouldn't even put if you're talking about a transcendent player that you just can't pass up. I don't have Van Ness. If he's ahead of Joey Porter, I don't think it would be by much, and therefore I think the fact that the Steelers have 2 entrenched starters, one of which is on the last year of his deal, but the Steelers want to extend. Some people are like, well, they haven't done it yet. They don't usually do that till September. Okay. So that doesn't surprise me that they haven't yet. To me, I think that I think what the Steelers would do would go Joey Porter Jr. So is that what we're doing?
Yep.
All right. So we are going to make the selection of Joey Porter Jr. at pick 17 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There it goes. So then we don't have much till the Steelers pick again. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading these because then I'm not going to pick or to do it every time. But after that, Brissy went after Joey Porter Jr. to the Lions. Bijan Robinson went to the Buccaneers at 19. Lucas Van Ness went 20. Seahawks, Jordan Addison, 21 to the Chargers. Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, 22 to the Ravens. Deontay Banks, 23 to the Vikings. Nolan Smith, 24 to the I'm a sick football team. Commanders, Cam Smith, 25th to the Giants, 26, Jalen Hyatt to the Cowboys, 27, Isaiah Foskey to the Panthers, 28, Anton Harrison to the Bengals. I thought he might still be there, 32. Zay Flowers, 29 to the Saints. Dalton Kincaid, 30 to the Eagles. DeJuan Jones, that's another one I thought who could possibly be there at 32. Went 31 to the Chiefs. So let's see what we have left. I think I'm torn because there's someone who I would have considered at 17 that's still there. But there's more than that. So here's what they have here. If you all can't read it, they have Mike, and this is in order of their rankings. They have Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame, Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of Tennessee, Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama, Josh Downs, wide receiver, North Carolina, and B.J. Ojulari, I think I said right, edge out of LSU, and then Darnell Washington, tight end out of Georgia. What are people saying here? Because to me, the player that I would look for around 32 has been Trenton Simpson. But I'll be honest with you, if Joey Porter Jr. is not there, I very well think that the Steelers could select Darnell Wright at pick 17.
Yeah, I'm getting some different things, but I think
somebody's put someone else out there, and it's another one that I've done in this draft. I've got to scroll down to get him because he's ranked at 41. Is Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan, and Kalijah Cansey is also there as well.
I'm probably still going like if I think the Steelers have a high number on the tackle, I'm going with the tackle.
Yeah. Well, because I'm just scrolling here. I'm just seeing that some people are saying Jack Campbell over Simpson. And that's the thing. There's somebody like Jack Campbell that's further down. Drew Sanders. Uh, those are a couple more linebackers that they could still be around at 49. So you have multiple options at linebacker, perhaps. To me, Darnell Wright is the fourth best tackle in this draft. And he's still sitting there at 32. Now, I'm not telling people what to do because this is the live
you
chat.
have to go Darnell, right?
Right? There's so many comments coming in, and I'm flipping back and forth to the screen. I can't see them all. So you're getting a much better gauge.
That's why I was trying to pop them up on there. Someone, here you go. Someone says, go get Wright, or we may not, you won't get in.
Honestly, if you don't get an offensive tackle here, I don't know that you're going to have one worth getting.
Correct.
Like, to me, when you're looking at Darnell Wright, who I thought, I'm shocked that Harrison and DeJuan Jones went ahead of him, because in most drafts they haven't. So to me, I don't see any other option for them at tackle beyond this one. Correct. Unless you're picking up a flyer on somebody late.
Right. So, my thought is you go with it here.
Okay. So now is that pretty well? We're not going against the live chat, are we?
No.
Okay. All right. I think that's the wise move here as well, with Darnell Wright.
No, Sean Mahan does bring up, hey, he's a right tackle and we're good there.
Oh, well, it's funny. He played right tackle last year because he took one for the team and moved from left tackle to right tackle because they had another left tackle and didn't have another right tackle. This is the guy Jim Wexell loves at 17. He thinks this is the guy they should be taking at 17. So that's a good point. But honestly, you want to know the truth?
Sure.
When you look at it last year, Dan Moore Jr. actually ranked out higher than Chuks Okorafor. And that was after year number 2. And you would think that he could possibly get better. So my thing is, to me, if you grab another young tackle that's going to be really good, the other two guys are fighting for the other spot, regardless of if it's left or right. So, and then who knows? Maybe you're upgrading left tackle. Maybe you're looking at that again next year. I don't know. But or like I said, Darnell Wright was a left tackle, moved to right, which might have hurt his draft stock, they said, but he's a team guy. He's a team captain. He was doing what was best for Tennessee last year. So is that our pick? Rich?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm not on the live chat to know if people were agreeing or not. So here we go.
Well, not everybody, but
if you were to tell me that the Steelers got Joey Porter Jr. and Darnell Wright in this draft, I would have been really surprised. Yeah. So that's one that I think is interesting. Now, we're not going to look at every single pick as they go, but we'll see what happens as it gets down here to the Steelers. It froze up on me a little bit. And what do you know? Trent Simpson is still there. Because, let's see, Mozzie Smith did go. Jack Campbell went, and so did Drew Sanders, but Trent Simpson did not. So if you want to look at the players who are available right here for the Steelers at 49, you've got Trent Simpson, linebacker, Clemson. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Alabama. You've got Keon White, edge, Georgia Tech. You've got Cedric Tillman, wide receiver, Tennessee. That's a guy I had been drafting at times, but guess what? Not now that they made that trade today. Gervin Dexter, defensive tackle, Florida. Luke Musgrave, Ohio State. DJ Turner, cornerback, Michigan. Clark Phillips III, cornerback, Utah. Early on in the process, he was mocked to the Steelers in the first round. So to me, but the Steelers already got their corner as well. So there's Sakai Ika, which was a lot of people wanted him at 32, but he has plummeted down boards. With everything going on there. So is there anyone else? Like there's Cody Mauch, offensive tackle. The Steelers already, that's a guy that's one guy that I could see the Steelers getting later at offensive tackle if they don't get somebody else. He's very interesting. Like he's the one name that I could see them taking beyond 32 if they haven't taken a tackle yet. Are there any questions in the live chat or anything they want to look at, or are they what are they looking at?
I don't know. Well, Brian Brown, of course, says, yeah, Simpson will work. This mock draft's going great.
Yeah, that was people were torn between Simpson and Wright. Well, they had some other names in there too, and then
also Ike has come up a few times. Yep. Let's see. Some people are still saying, Simpson's a steal here. Yeah. Steel Dog 88 said, hey, we could take DJ Turner double dip at corner. But overall, the majority of what I'm seeing is saying, hey, go ahead and go with Simpson.
Yeah.
Someone's asking you to scroll down.
Oh, hold on. I got to scroll down here. Scroll down more. Okay. So here's some more. They could see it there. I was at Ika before, Cody Mach. But you got to remember some of these names here. Hendon Hooker is still out there. Some people have him going in the first round now. Keanu Benton is still there. That's an intriguing one with the Steelers' next pick. I'll be honest with you. I've actually gone center in some of these drafts at this point. But the way this one, I hope I'm not going too fast, but these are some names that we're looking at that could be available at the next pick. To me, the way this is going, I've taken Trent Simpson at 32 before. The fact that you wouldn't have to and you could get him at 49. I'm already worried about this draft because I'm like, I don't see this falling the Steelers' way if this is the way it goes.
Yeah.
But so is it Simpson?
I think it's Simpson.
All right.
I'd say we get the pretty decent majority of that on the live chat as well.
All right. So I picked Simpson. Moving on. I mean, this is one. This is where if the Steelers, if the quarters and tackles are gone in the first round, or even if they aren't, and the Steelers pick someone like Simpson in the first round because he seems to be the guy that Mike Tomlin loves. Jeff Hartman and I did the ESPN simulator earlier today just to do it because I showed him that it was a new one. We actually got Jack Campbell at pick 49 is who we got. So so that one was interesting. I got Simpson somewhere. That was in a different market another time. Wow, they had Hendon Hooker going at 79. I don't see that happening. But this is interesting. If you want to double dip at corner, here's your double dip at corner. And that name right there is, if you see me circling it on the screen, if you can, that's one Julius Brents out of Kansas State. This is a guy that when you talk that if y'all listen to what's the name of Jim Waxwell's show on our network, Steel City Insider, that he talks about he wants Darnell Wright at 17 and Julius Brents at 32. That's what he wants. If you want to double dip corner, Julius Brents at 80 is one. But here's who all we've got. We've got Rashee Rice, wide receiver SMU. You've got Marvin Mims Jr., wide receiver Oklahoma. Tyreek Stevenson, quarterback Miami. Keyshawn, is that Boutte? I'll say. Wide receiver LSU. I know I messed it up. Julius Brents, cornerback Kansas State. Tank Bigsby, running back Auburn. Ivan Pace Jr., linebacker Cincinnati. Brandon Joseph, safety Notre Dame. That's an interesting one. Trey Palmer, wide receiver Nebraska. This is completely different now with the draft now that they've added Allen Robinson, and I don't feel like I have to go with the wide receiver early. I've just taken someone. Trey Palmer, wide receiver Nebraska, if I didn't say that. Caillou Blue Kelly, cornerback Stanford. Sam Porta, tight end Iowa. Andre Carter, edge Army. Andre Carter the second. Was he the one that the story was before that they didn't know if he could get his service? I can't remember what happened there. Zach Evans, running back Ole Miss. Christopher Smith, Georgia. Matthew Bergeron, offensive tackle Syracuse. Israel, I can't say it. The running back from Pitt, that guy. All right. So what are they saying in the live chat? What do they want to see?
This is another one at the majority are saying, you'd take Brents because he's there on the board, but a lot of people have a feeling that it wouldn't actually play out this way.
Yeah. I could see the Steelers taking Brents at 49 if they didn't get a corner in the first round. Or even Brent's at 32, some people are saying. So far what the Steelers have, we got to remember this. We've drafted for this mock corner, tackle, linebacker. So, and Eco went 3 picks before the Steelers made it back. Or else I know that's who people probably would have wanted. I think that's an interesting one. I think safety Brandon Joseph out of Notre Dame is another interesting one. If you wanted to go the tight end, this is where you could maybe look to dip at edge. Do you think they like the edge rusher out of Army? Because I read a story about him, a crazy story about him, and I went too far, didn't I? To find him, where they weren't sure if he was going to be able if he was going to be able to go to the draft because of a change they were changing something with the law of something that the previous administration, I'm talking government administration, had implemented, that they could defer their service. They were going to take that away. The fact that he's even there, I assume that that's not happening, but he's like the first player from Army who's been available forever. So what do we got?
Really, the only question that's kind of come up,
do I need to filter by position?
Yeah, someone wants to know what defensive tackles are on the
defensive board. Tackle. Okay, let's see. Defensive tackle. Here's what we got. Oh, defensive tackles are probably, you're looking at the players that would probably be better around with pick 120, because it would, maybe let's see there, because there's Zach Pickens, defensive tackle of South Carolina. Is that Jocelyn Roy, LSU, Moro Ojomo, Texas, Kobe Wooden, Auburn, Jackson Player, Baylor, Dante Stills, West Virginia, Jalen Redmond, Oklahoma.
That's far enough.
Carl Brooks, Bowling Green, met with the Steelers this week. But to me, that's not a pick here. That would be a pick later.
You double dip here, then you're able to get rid of one of those corners to pay for Allen Robinson.
Okay, so do you double? So the question is, do you double dip with that? Double.
We all heard that.
Double, because I'm trying to say Tyreek. Double dip Tyreek.
PG show.
PG show. Oh man, I got to change the rating on this one now when we put it on YouTube. Do we double dip with Tyreek Stevenson or Julius Brents? Or do you go safety Brandon Joseph? I think the way this draft is shaping up, you're probably looking at one of those 3 players in the secondary. Which one of the corners do you like better, or do you want to go safety? You think that's a way to break it down for everyone?
So I would ask you to filter out those safeties for a second, just to take a peek.
Oh, to see the safeties.
Yeah.
To have an idea of what could even be there later.
Real quick, but now, most everybody's still leaning towards Brents.
Yeah, okay. Brandon Joseph, then you got Christopher Smith II, Jair Brown from Penn State at 120, which is exactly when the Steelers pick. Ronnie Hickman, Ohio State at ranked 124. Jamie Robinson. So it's funny, you've got some other safeties that are from schools that the Steelers like that are still left as well. But you can't push off every position until then they're all gone. So
still for the most part, everybody out, the majority of the live chat still saying go with Brents.
Brents, all right, double dipping at corner. Julius Brents. Pick is made. Let's roll on. Yeah, as we go on, these middle round ones are the ones I feel take the longest when you have the most discussion about everything. So here we are into day 3 already. My goodness, time is flying. We've wished away the first 2 days of the NFL draft. So here's who is left. This is the top overall according to Pro Football Network. Running back Sean Tucker from Syracuse. Running back Chase Brown from Illinois. I'm pretty sure that's offensive center Ricky Stromberg of Arkansas. Defensive tackle Jacqueline Roy. From LSU, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver, Ole Miss. See, this would be a perfect spot for Mingo with the Steelers, except they just picked up Allen Robinson. That's why I'm not sure. Zach Harrison, edge, Ohio State. That's another interesting possibility. Mahamoud Diabate, linebacker from Utah. Oh, well. Jair Brown, safety, Penn State. Wanya Morris, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. A guard from Alabama, we'll say that. Ronnie Hickman, safety from Ohio State. Bryce Ford Wheaton, wide receiver from West Virginia. McClendon Curtis, offensive guard from Chattanooga. Do we need to filter by position?
Yeah, hold on.
Any requests for filtering by position?
I keep clicking back and forth so I can see what you're doing and what's going on.
Well, that's, yeah. So
let's see. Here are a couple of the questions. Oh, man, I could read through a bunch of these. Let's see. Someone says center, Chase Brown.
Hey, if we've got to take a little bit of time right now, I understand, because the Steelers now don't pick for this is pick 120. When the real draft runs around, you have to double the number +1 for the Steelers to pick again. They go from 120 to 241. Now in this draft, it'll be 234 because it hasn't updated. But yeah. So let's look. I saw one person before I click back says filter the edge. So we look at the edge real quick. Zach Harrison, Ohio State. Isaiah Land, Florida A&M. KJ Henry, Clemson. Byron Young, Tennessee. Brenton Cox Jr., Florida. And Habakkuk Baldonado from Pittsburgh. And Ali Gay from LSU. And Yaya Diaby. There's some good names in there. Do you want a Habakkuk? Do you want a Yaya? That's some good stuff. What other position do they want? D tackle?
So someone asked, is Voorhees available?
Who? Oh, I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who that is either. But that's for you to figure
you have to tell me how to spell that.
I just had it up on the screen and took it down.
I'm not on the screen.
Well, you're just fired.
I'm on my screen. I'm on this screen, so I can type it in.
Boorhees. Well, I know. So that's doing me no good to pull up the live chats at all, except everybody else gets to see when I pull them up. I was trying to pull them up so you can see.
It's not coming. It's not coming up.
Okay.
Even if I hit it, no, it's not. That means he must be drafted.
Man, this is all over the place. Even people positions are all fat. Yeah, good one, Thaddeus. Thaddeus says take a quarterback. Someone asked you to filter edge rushers, please.
Didn't I do edge rushers?
I don't know.
That's what I did before. Yeah.
I'm reading these, I'm not listening to you. So
here's the defensive tackles, just so you know. Jacqueline Roy, Moro Ojomo, Colby Wooden, Jackson Player, Dante Stills. That's those. What other position could people possibly look for other than edge or defensive tackle? It's so weird to have. I mean, it doesn't mean that the Steelers won't draft a wide receiver, but because the news is really fresh, it doesn't feel like wide receiver is one that you're going to jump in and grab.
Right. So I'm getting a lot of stuff saying Henry or Mingo, although I've got some other names that are popping up here yet.
Mm-hmm. So where's Henry? Henry. I'm not even sure who Henry was. I'm trying to find Henry. See, to me, if I was making this pick, I would go between do you want a defensive tackle like Roy? Do you want an edge like Harrison? Was that what he meant by
probable? Yeah. Quite possible. Someone thought that might have been what was meant there.
So I mean, there's nothing keeping the Steelers from going wide receiver if people think that's going to be their best pick there. This is a tough one, isn't it?
This is a tough one.
Okay. People are all over. They're getting some Harrisons in there. I'm just only seeing like the last 5 in there. Some people want the running back. To me, right now, any running back you draft is going to come in automatically in the best BRB3. That's why I wouldn't look for running back before the 7th round. But some people might feel that that's a good one.
You know what? In this spot, if you're going to ask me, because in the end, it's going to come down to you and I making a decision. I may be thinking you go with Harrison there.
That sounds interesting there. Yeah, because there you're getting your edge depth.
You got a guy that's coming in trying to get that third spot, be the rotational guy.
And Harrison's about as free. He's a freaky athlete, is what they say. 6'5", 274. Okay, I brought up a bio here about him. Dominating size with long burly frame and an elite wingspan. With his rare length and frame density, has quality elite raw power capacity, and that's a central part of his game. He has the power capacity to generate displacement with long arms and bull rushes and work tackles off balance. He also has the rotational power and torque to drive blockers into the turf with superior leverage. Boy, they must really like to look at him glass half full with stuff with this, because I'm like, that sounds fantastic right there when you hear that.
Yeah.
So where are we going?
I'm going edge.
You're saying Harrison?
Yes.
No way the live chat's going to agree on anyone in this one. There's no way we'd even get a majority. So we just kind of have to go with it.
I've seen enough, and there were plenty where folks had it broken down to two, and one of the two seemed to be Harrison a good bit.
He's drafted. I already did it.
Okay, good.
So now what we really want to do with these last two picks is think about where might the Steelers be looking for something that could be interesting. You know, you could do a wide receiver late. You could do a running back late. You could, if there's someone who really seems like there's a good, a project. But to me, defensive tackle, I said either go big or go home. They have really filled in the defensive line this year. And the success of the defensive line could really come down to improvement of DeMarvin Leal, unless they're going to use him on the edge instead, like they did some last year. But whoo, man, it's a long time between picks here. Yeah, because it's 234 because it hasn't been updated. Now, chances are who the Steelers could get at 234 versus 241, and then 241 versus 251 are probably going to be pretty close. So let's look at these here. You've got Ibrahim, running back Minnesota, Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back Kentucky, Tyson, I should know his name. I think it's It's Badgett, isn't it? From Shepherd, the quarterback, whose dad was the arm wrestling champion. Okay. I think he's a guy, especially as a UDFA, could end up with the Steelers when they get drafted. Nesta Jade Silvera, defensive tackle from Arizona State. Malik Cunningham, quarterback of Louisville. Christian Eisen, safety Rutgers. Marshawn Ford, tight end Louisville. Spencer Anderson, center Maryland. To me, if the Steelers are going to get a center, get one high. Any position, there's a Byron Young, defensive tackle from Alabama. You know how the Steelers are with those Alabama defensive linemen in the 6th or 7th round. So that's just some of the options that they have. Seriously, did I see that right? I'm looking at names here because is there really a linebacker for Arkansas called Bumper Pool?
Probably.
I gotta love that.
There's a lot of people out here that are hollering, wanting to see a quarterback. So what are the quarterbacks left?
So the quarterbacks left are
a lot of people are,
Okay, because to me, I'll keep saying this. You don't draft a quarterback because in that way, the UDFAs, it's more attractive. Or honestly, if you take a 7th round quarterback, a UDFA still might think, hey, I can beat that guy. I'll come in and I'll get I can get that 3rd spot ahead of that guy. But it's badging from Shepherd, Cunningham, Louisville, DeVito, Illinois, Tim DeMorit from Fordham, Jarrett, is that Doge from Troy? Man, I should know how to pronounce these better. I mean, we're all ready to prospect 460.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So if you wanted to look running back, you've got Ibrahim from Minnesota, Rodriguez, Kentucky, Hall, Northwestern, Nichols from Central Michigan, Dye from USC. I know that it looks like probably the Pitt one. He could be a person who's late. If you want to see defensive tackle, you've got Nesta Jade Silvera, whatever it is, from Arizona State, Byron Young from Alabama, Corey Durden from NC State. If you go, let's say safety, Christian Eisen from Rutgers, Jason Taylor, the second from Oklahoma State, Avery Young from Rutgers, Christian Young from Arizona, Daniel Scott from California. What are people thinking?
Sure, it's all over the place. Some people are still set on a quarterback. We're not taking a quarterback.
Oh, we're not?
No, we're not. I'm not taking a quarterback. Do me a favor. Let's see. Thaddeus would like to see tight ends.
Tight ends. Yeah, tight ends is another good one. Okay. Where am I at?
Why don't you go up here and click on offense?
Yeah, you got tight end. Okay, you got Marshawn Ford from Louisville. Josh, I'm saying that's Wiley from Cincinnati. Cameron McDonald from Florida State. Ben Sims from Taylor. Davis Allen from Clemson. That goes up through number 260. You also have Brenton Strange from Penn State.
Yes, I'm not feeling it there either.
Yeah. To me, I'm like, what are these guys? Is that something you could do as a UDFA? Remember, I always look at 7th round picks as UDFAs that the Steelers don't have to fight for.
I like T-Bar. Look up the name Schofield and draft them.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Be a kicker.
Oh,
which, by the way,
do we have any long snappers? No, we only have kickers.
Actually, the name that's going to be there tonight would be Dave Schofield, because why?
Why?
In case everybody forgot. Today, the WAPO.
We can hit that at the end. Let's finish the draft.
Okay, finish the draft. You know what? I'm probably going with that D tackle from Alabama.
Okay. Let's go back to the D tackles. Somebody was saying this Keandre Coburn is a nose.
Someone else is saying
Texas.
Take Durden, the tackle from NC State.
Mm-hmm. Corey Durden, from NC State is another one.
Yep.
He's 6'4", 290, just so you know. So I'm just trying to look up. I'm trying to look at measurements here. I clicked on Coburn from Texas. Oh, he's 6'1". He's 6'1", 336.
There you go.
That's like big snack. Yeah. So and the D tackle from Alabama, he's 6'3", 294.
See, he fits in that size and pretty close to that weight where we like to go with our D tackles.
Yeah. Bro, I click over and just to see somebody say draft Brian Anthony Davis. Someone said, "How big is Young?" I just flipped over and said, "Byron." Oh, I already showed that. Sorry.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm still probably going with Young.
I really am. All right. Well, we are running low on our time right now, so we better get to it. So let's go Byron Young, and we'll turn around and pick again right now. Which, what do you know? Pretty much everybody else is still left. What position are we looking?
Is Joey Fisher still there?
Oh, he's got to be. I'm sure he is. To double dick tackle.
Because, he's not a tackle.
Yeah, because they have him as a guard.
Yeah. They have him play guard. He could play tackle. Just because,
they have him at 199 on the Draft Network. They have him at 408 on this one.
Yeah,
so you just know people are all over the place.
I know, but he's a guy that if you don't want to fight for somebody that might be I don't know, a little bit of a need a year to develop, and then you know what you got.
Yeah,
I'd consider do it. The dude is massively strong.
Did you
see what he did?
40 reps. 40 reps.
I was gonna say, did you see what he did at his pro day?
40 reps.
He smashed. Smashed the reps. And
when he texts me, he calls me sir.
What?
When he texts me, he calls me sir.
He texts you?
Yeah. His fiance is married to a friend of mine. His fiance is married to. His fiance is sister with a friend of mine's wife. There, I finally got it right.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone was wanting to know about the tight end from Penn State, if he's still there. Brenton Strange, he's still there.
What's his measurables?
Brenton Strange from Penn State. That's a good one. 6'3", 253.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers do it, though.
You don't think so? Another Penn State tight end?
I mean, what's our tight end room currently?
Yeah, but also you would have room for one other person if you're not adding another fullback, because you're basically using that role with another tight end.
True.
So there could be space for it. So
true.
Okay, so I'm getting a lot of people saying Strange here is the last couple ones.
You know what? I am okay with that.
I'm fine with that too. You know what? We're going with it. Brenton Strange. There we go.
Wow.
Let this finish out. And this is what's really frustrating is they put so many things in the way here. I got to try to save this off. But here's our picks to run them down before we finish up here. 17, Joey Porter Jr., 32, Darnell Wright. Whoa, sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that or not.
Yes, I did. So
there was an ad that started playing. So it's Joey Porter Jr. 17, Darnell Wright at 32, Trenton Simpson at 49, Julius Brents at 80, Zach Harrison at 120, Byron Young at 234, and Brenton Strange at 241. But we take Byron Young and Brenton Strange and bump them back to 241 and 251, and that would basically be what it was.
Yep.
Rich, real quick, what do you think of that?
The top part of that is actually ridiculous. If it actually,
it's ridiculously too good. Honestly, I don't see how they could do this. Those 4 players, I don't see them could possibly get those players. I think it would have to take the first 2 picks to get any of those 4. I don't know that Trenton Simpson's going to be there at 49. I don't know that Julius Brent's going to be there at 80. He might be there at 49, but it might also be safer to go sooner if the Steelers really want him.
Correct.
I'm really impressed with how that came out at the top. If the Steelers ended up with that draft right there, I would be very happy with it. So here's your final question, Rich. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yep.
You know what? I'm not going to stop sharing my screen. We'll leave it up there. Here's the final question. We only got a couple minutes left. Out of all the picks that the Steelers have, which one do you think is most likely to be selected by the Steelers in the draft? Not necessarily at that spot, but is most likely to end up to be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Looking at that, probably Darnell Wright.
Oh, so you're going to go Darnell Wright?
I am.
All right. Well, that's what I was going to go if you went with the other way. So I'm going Joey Porter Jr. So let me type this in here. I got to do that. I don't know if I spelled everything right. Boom. There it is. It is now in the live chat. So for you all to do it, I will bring them up as quickly as I can. I am going to stop sharing now so we can see the comments better. I thought I hit stop. There it goes.
You did.
So here we go. Most likely to be a Steeler. We've got a lot of people. Okay. Thomas Riley says JPJ. Did it come up? No, it didn't. There it is. Okay. Wes Hickok says Joey Porter Jr., Steeler Chick 46, Joey Jr., Steel Dog 88, JPJ. Woo, great 103, JPJ. Afton Ford says Lil Peasy. Brian Brown says JPJ. Rob Thitoff says Brent's.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get Joey Porter Jr. in the first round, I think Brent's would be the cornerback they would get. So I like that. Thinking outside the box there, Rob. I like it. How do you pronounce that name? I don't know if I said it right. Vergenthi? We'll go with that. Says right.
Sure.
Mr. Woodside. Well, remember, we got to keep PG. He says right. Kyle Smith. No, sorry. Mr. Woodside said JPJ. Kyle Smith says right. Sorry about that. Bart Mackey. He says Darnell Wright. Sorry, Steel Champs. You have to actually pick someone from the draft that we had. Kathy Ford says JPJ. Awesome stuff. 1983 says right. Sorry, guys. It's got to be one of the ones that we have there. Thaddeus says Strange. The tight end. that the Steelers, and that could even be a UDFA. Richard Adamson says Joey Porter Jr. Let's see. How do we say this? Charmingly sophisticated S says Julius Brents. Let's see. Darkstorm 1 says Joey Porter Jr. because it's hard to pick after that. That's not necessarily true because we've had people hit on picks that were later in the draft. Like Shannon White, he picked Alex Highsmith in 2020. Sherry Richards says Simpson. Okay. Kyle Smith says Wright for other reasons. Demetrios says Brents. Jacob Heinrich says Wright. And some people were even given more than one. So if any of them pop up there, Rich, you started to say something to me earlier. I said, we'll talk about that later. I have to say, I got delivered to me a really nice handmade card today from the oldest child of one Jefferson Bartholomew Hartman. His son made me a birthday card. Saw him at the library today, and he made me a birthday card. I thought that was pretty cool. So, but I got something else I got to show you. You know what my family did? This is what I got. I got a board game. I got a board game of Trogdor the Burninator. Board game. Yep. Burninating the countryside. Yeah, so I'm really excited to bust into that one.
Is down.
Yeah, yes. With the email. So yes, thank you all for the happy birthday wishes. Yes, I am, as Rich said, I am Awapo is what?
This year, 45 years old.
Yeah, now I'm 45. So oh no, you said something making a joke. You said 43.
I gave you 43 and said there you go. I gave you 2
Jeff
years.
thought you were right. But Jeff said I was 59. That's what he told the rest of the SEN staff. That's what we are. So thank you for the birthday wishes. Hey, sorry we went over a little bit, but we are going to continue to bring this content for you. We had to talk about the newest addition to the Steelers via trade. We had to talk about that tonight. Couldn't help it. And also, we had to make sure we did this right. So, Rich, do you have anything you want to say here in order to send us out?
The Scho Bro mock draft finally done. I don't have to put up with mock draft anymore because I will not pay attention to any more. But the time is getting near. Mm-hmm. The time is getting near. We are nearing draft day. I'm getting super excited. I've been talking to some of my buddies who are Steeler fans. We've been talking a lot of draft. It's a lot of fun. Next week we'll be spending our time basically right before the draft kind of talk. And you know what I have to say about that? Can't wait. Can't wait.